Top 10 Lesser-Known Historical Events That Changed the World. Part 1. The Birth of the Internet, a global network that changed everything. Imagine a world without the Internet. No social networks to share everyday moments, no Google for instant information, and no email for sending important documents. In such a world, information would travel slowly, geographical barriers would pose major challenges, and businesses wouldn't operate as smoothly as they do today. Yet, not so long ago, this was our reality. The birth of the Internet, a phenomenon that fundamentally changed how we communicate and interact, was not an overnight event. It was a lengthy process spanning decades, involving the collaboration of many scientists, engineers, and organizations. This work led to the creation of a global network that has become the backbone of modern society. The early years, the Cold War, and the need for connection. The story of the Internet begins in a turbulent period, the Cold War. During this time, the United States and the Soviet Union were in a constant state of tension with fears of a looming nuclear war. At this time, the US government realized a major problem. The traditional communication system was too vulnerable to attack. If an attack occurred, especially a nuclear one, the entire system could be destroyed in an instant, paralyzing the nation. To address this concern, scientists began to think of a communication system without a central control. This meant that if one part of the system was destroyed, the remaining parts could still function. From this idea, ARPANET was born. In the late 1960s, the US Department of Defense, through an agency called ARPA, Advanced Research Projects Agency, funded this project. ARPANET officially launched in 1969, aiming to connect computers at universities and research institutions. At the time, however, no one truly imagined that ARPANET would become the foundation of the global Internet. A historic moment, the Internet's first message. On October 29, 1969, a day that few would have guessed would go down in history, engineers and researchers at the University of California, Los Angeles, UCLA, were ready to send the first message through ARPANET. This was the first time in history that two computers were connected across a distance using this network. The simple yet ambitious message was login, but things didn't go as smoothly as expected. When they began to send the message, the system crashed after only 2 letters, and so the historic first message on the Internet was actually just LO. It could be said that this was a mysterious sort of greeting from the nascent global network. Despite this small glitch, the development of ARPANET was undeterred. Just a few years later, this network connected various research institutions, creating a new way to exchange scientific information and documents. Development progress from ARPANET to the Internet. During the 1970s and early 1980s, ARPANET continued to expand, connecting more research organizations and universities across the United States. However, there was still a major problem. ARPANET did not communicate effectively with other networks being developed around the world. In 1974, 2 scientists, Vint Cerf and Bob Kahn, developed the TCP/IP, Transmission Control Protocol's Internet Protocol, a critical advancement. This protocol allowed different networks to talk to each other seamlessly. Thanks to this, independent networks worldwide could connect and form a single network, the Internet. By 1983, TCP/IP became the standard protocol for all interconnected networks, and this was also when the term Internet began to be widely used. From then on, the Internet was no longer just a tool for military and scientific researchers. It began finding its way to the public. The birth of the World Wide Web, the transformation of the Internet. If you think the Internet in the 1980s was similar to today's, you're mistaken. Back then, the Internet was still a complex technical tool, accessible only to those with specialized knowledge. But then a British scientist named Tim Berners-Lee changed everything. In 1989, while working at the European Organization for Nuclear Research, CERN, Berners-Lee invented the World Wide Web, commonly called the web, a technology that allowed documents with text and images to be displayed via web browsers. This opened up a new era where anyone, from laypeople to scientists, could easily access information. The launch of the first web browser in 1991 changed everything. Users no longer had to enter difficult-to-remember commands. They could simply click to access information. This transformed the internet from a specialized tool into a popular, user-friendly platform for everyone. The internet in modern society. Today, the internet has become an essential part of daily life. From streaming services, online shopping, remote learning, to social networking platforms, the internet has reshaped the way we communicate, work, and entertain ourselves. But few know that the origin of this remarkable network started from fears of nuclear war, and the first message was just a brief word, hello. The humble beginnings of the internet laid the foundation for one of humanity's greatest inventions.